Welcome back to Horse Racing Today on Horse Racing Radar TV. Not Horse Race, the number 2 day, unfortunately. But kind of a kind of odd, hard time picking winners at the top of the card yesterday at Parx.
Yeah.
Hopefully today is a little bit different than yesterday in that respect. I think track is fast over there. A few more scratches today. One race with a whole bunch of horses in it. And we're going to unveil something new today. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I think you'll find it to be as exciting as I find it to be.
And me.
Yeah, you too. Well, for reasons we'll talk about in a minute. But today's free track to be excited about is Turf Paradise. It's a free track at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. So make sure you tune into that. Look, and get some love already from Adrian Rongo. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate that on Facebook. If you like what you see during the course of today, any interaction, a comment, a thumbs up, a retweet, a sharing of the link for YouTube, any sort of interaction, coming back to watch the races individually, because we will put the times to each race in the description below when we're done. Any sort of interaction or reoccurring interaction between you and us and all the technology actually lifts our scores in their algorithms. The higher our scores go, when people search, they'll find us. A very easy way for you to help us grow the show, and we would wholeheartedly appreciate that. All right, Terry, now that all of the, I don't know what you want to call that stuff, but the things we got to say that we rather not have to say are out of the way, let's talk about the things that everybody wants to talk about. That's all the horse races at Parx today, where the track is fast. And, well, what is the first race all about?
All right. Well, it's a 7 furlong race. It's a $5,000 claiming race with a purse of $18,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, which have not won 2 races since September 19th.
Yes, indeed. And we do 10,000 simulations around here, Terry. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we also do what I call a profile of a winner. We want to look at the type of horse that usually wins at the distance and surface. So for 7 furlongs, we're finding this to be the case in almost all distances at Parx. You want to be in the front half, but not necessarily on the lead. But if you are on the lead 14% of the time, Dan Fouts, the best 14 I can think of, they do well. They go wire to wire. Post position wise, the rail is fair, so lip lock could do all right. 2 and 3, a big bonus. That's the best place to be. 4 and under par, but the closer you are to the rail, the better off you are. Again, 10,000 simulations, Terry. We're looking for simulation odds that are lower than post-time odds, and the scratches here are probably going to have some impact on post-time odds. We also want to see, based upon our simulations, what percent of the time a horse runs a speed figure of par or better for this level, hence par plus, being 77 is the average winning speed figure then for the distance, and for the what are they called again, Terry? The conditions. There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Speed being a factor, we want to know how often a horse is going to have the lead, and based upon our projected pace, how likely the horse is to get a trip that mirrors its best performances. So in other words, it's going to be in its comfort zone, hence C-zone. Terry, who's going to have that early jump in race number 1?
Well, it appears like that 3 does. It's got a lot of speed, although the 5 and the 2 show some speed too. And then the 3 has a small overlay from just over 5 to 2 to 7 to 2. The 5 has an overlay from about 8 to 5 to 3 to 1. The 3 and 5 show the only par plus numbers there, and all of them have comfort zone numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The one that's closest to a gringo here is the Parisian vibe. So like if you're in Paris, I suppose. I don't know what kind of vibe that is nowadays, but we also do what they call trip handicapping. And I change this up a little bit. I have 2 versions of it. One is their best performance relative to winning, and one is a version where their best speed figure, which I think is the highest measure of their race, right? So looking at their best speed figure, we see here nobody really wants to be on the lead. The 2 and the 5, they're pressure horses. They'd prefer to co-pilot. The 1, 3, and 6, they did their best when they were closers. So let's see how this race lines up relative to their best performances. And we see that the 3 horse could be a left arrow horse, one that should push forward. A 6-point advantage. Every 5 points equals roughly 1 length, folks. So Parisian vibe going to be probably a length ahead of everybody as the race gets started. As the race comes to a close, Miss Bell has an 11-point late speed advantage. That's about 2 lengths and should only be about a length off the lead, Terry. That one's got the top total pace in there, 6 points clear, but the 5 and the 3 are well above the rest of the field. One of those two, based upon total pace, should be your winner, Terry. Which one do you think it is?
Well, I like the 3 Parx and Vibe. She won her last race at Parx Racing, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Mrs. Bell, the 5, comes in from Penn National after finishing second to try Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. My second choice. My third choice is number 2, Lean On E. She likes Parx Racing. She's been in the money 59% of the races, winning 24% of those starts. And the distance will be in her wheelhouse as she's finished in the money 43% of the time with 14% of those wins. The long shot I have is Lip Lock, the number 1. She had a disappointing finish in her first race at Parx Racing after being bumped. Drops in class today, can improve while returning to a sprint, and she has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then, of course, their normal bets that we do are $2 win, and then a $1 exacta box with our first 2 choices, 50-cent trifecta box with our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta box with our first 4 choices.
My partner for Foreign Fridays, 22-1 Tom, letting us know that this Foreign Friday, we're going to go back to Rose Hill like we did last Friday, Tom and I. We had a lot of success in the opening race. I had the ice cold trifecta and superfecta, and I think in the 8th race, somewhere along there, like 4 races into the 7 races we did, if I remember correctly, Tom had a really nice ice cold trifecta with some nice prices. And I think overall, even though there are very deep fields there and you don't have the most information, I think we had the winner in every single race. And of the 7 races we did in our picks, we had the exacta and 5 out of 7 and some nice price horses winning. So 8th race, Tom says, yes, he had the ice cold trifecta. So make sure you tune in for that. If you're up for a little late night, early morning racing from Friday to Saturday, Tom and I, we always have a lot of fun on that show because for me, it's interesting to handicap foreign races because of the lack of information. So you really have to go back to the basics. And it's funny because sometimes you end up picking more long shots than you have with all the data that's available to us in the States, as we put up on our screens. Well, of all the data that we have here in the States, that led me to Parisian Vibe, just like you, Terry. I think this one could be just a little too quick for everybody early in a shortened field of 5. Not only is this one early pace advantage, but last time out showed some improved late speed. So you add A plus B equals C. Somewhere I learned about that in geometry. But my answer was always X squared. Lean On Me or Lean On E when you're not strong gets my second choice in here, Terry, because it's going to drop in class. 2 races back, she ran 1 at a level just a touch lower than this one and went away from the pack at the end. Miss Bell, I know in our pace handicapping sheet there or our trip handicapping, that one ranked in as an aggressive pick as well. Top total pace, simulation favorite, Terry. But this one comes in from Penn National, and you know how I feel about Penn National shippers coming into Parx. They just don't perform at the same level in Bensalem as they do wherever Penn National is. And I know where it is. I just forget, so nobody scream at me. And then finally, the 6-horse Cream Caramel, or is it Caramel, Terry?
Caramel.
I don't know. Some people call it caramel. Anyway, this one's making the classic third start after layoff. I think that's pretty standard. And all of its race internals last time out improved. So when you look at I like to look at their internal race numbers here. You see that it ran 84 for the early speed, 76 for the mid race, and then 71 at the end. All of those were improvements from that first start, and it's going to make that classic third start off a layoff. So lots of reasons to think that one could be better today, folks. Keep an eye on that when you do your handicapping. You ready for race 2, Terry?
Yeah, let's go.
I forgot to put what we were doing down there in the corner. So every now and then I get a little bit ahead or behind myself. What are we doing here? What are we working for?
It's a 1/16. It's a maiden claiming, $10,000 claiming price for the person, $19,000 for maidens 4-year-olds and upward.
Maiden claiming 10. All right. 1/16. We saw that as the opener yesterday. We saw horses get to the front, stay there, and actually win out that race. Well, that's not shocking because early speed does win at this odd distance. Only 12 races so far at Parx, 36% of which went wire to wire. There's a little bit of a rail penalty for Social Joe. 2 and 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a bonus, and then 8 and out. You get a penalty. Terry, once again, 10,000 simulations tell a story. You let us know what it is.
Well, the 4 has the most speed, as you can see there, with the 77.2. And then the 3 has the next best speed. A couple others have some small amount of speed. The 3 has an overlay from about 1 to 2, I guess, or something like that, to 6 to 5. And then none of them have any par numbers. And then they all have C zones.
Yeah, you look here, the 4 horse, if speed does matter, good chance to be on the lead. The strongest C zone, we saw a horse come home just like that yesterday. That was that 2 horse. I forget its name, Terry. Got to the lead, stayed on the lead, and never gave up the lead. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rambling in My Shoes try to repeat that effort. Our trip handicapping tells us that the 7, when it ran its best speed figure, was up on the lead. Any chance for that to happen today? Doesn't look too strong. Looks like it could be the 4 horse, Rambling in My Shoes. Now, again, these horses are all having not won a first race, and they're at probably about the lowest level at Parx. This one has an 8-point advantage early on over everybody else. You can find some stamina. Could get big enough lead. It could be difficult for them to run it down. Our late speed belongs to Whiskey Prize, Social Joe. But minus that speed horse, everybody's pretty close, within 5 points of each other, so within a length. So where you are on the track will have a big difference in terms of your boxed in, your 3 wide, how much you can utilize that late energy. Our top total pace horse is Whiskey Prize. 5 points clear, Humble Joe and Lord CB. 3, not only a big overlay, Terry, but according to top total pace, should win by about a length. We both think it's your most likely winner.
Yeah, I like Whiskey Prize, the 3. He ran second versus similar in his last race. Best start speed as fast as among today's starters, and it has a high percentage winning trainer who his horses win 25% of the maiden claiming races. And then he also has a high percentage winning jockey. And then Humble Joe, the 6 by second choice, finished 3rd in his last race, has the highest last speed rating. And then Rambling in My Shoes, the 4 is my 3rd pick, drops in class today, can improve while returning to this route. And then Shady Capture, number 7, my long shot. He has his best start speed is close to the average winning speed here. And we're going to do something for somebody that asked us yesterday.
Yeah, Don Johnson yesterday asked us to do pick 4, so we put him in.
Yeah. So I did a pick 4 starting this race. I used the 3 with the 1, 3, 4, 6, with the 1, 2, 3, 7, with the 1, 2, 7, and that costs $24.
Yeah, and if there's something you'd like to see us do, like Don Johnson, we've had a couple suggestions that we've changed the show to accommodate. So if there's anything you'd like to see us do, let us know in the comments section. Tweet at us, whatever it is that, and I'm at HRT Rich. I would kindly enjoy your following me. As for me, Terry, we got the same 3 horses to start this race, the 3, the 4, and the 6, maiden claiming 10. Boy, I think that means just about anybody can win. But Whiskey Prize probably has the best chance to win as that big simulation overlay, the 5-point total pace favorite. And last time out, the horse showed that it held its speed longer. And that's, again, something that I'd like to see. With the 3 horse you see here, its speed in this race carried it all the way to the half-mile marker, and then kind of faded a little bit and flattened out at the end. Here, it didn't really do anything. So you kind of have that triangle look to it, or ascending line look to it. I also like the 6 horse as my second choice there, Humble Joe. Humble Joe is running the proper distance 3 times out, a couple to thirds, so maybe I should have downgraded this to 1 spot. Last time out, this horse improved its late speed. Let's see if it can carry that momentum over into today. Number 4, Rambling in My Shoes. It has that really strong chance to get on the lead. Top C-zone score, maybe too much pace for everybody, especially as the lone class dropper. And then finally, Lord CB. I would take a swing out a long shot in here too. This one's making its 3rd start after a layoff, so maybe some upside in that race, or this upcoming race. And it's one of the more lightly raced horses. I think there's 2 of them here with 5. This is one of those 2. And you might not have seen the best out of this horse relative to others that have run 10, 11, 12 times already. My pick 4 is 3, 4, 6 over to 1, 3, 4, 7. I'm going to single the 7 in the third leg and then go 2, 6 on the back end. I think mine is what, $12, Terry? Is that right?
$12. Yeah.
$12. You know, and apparently I struggle with my wagering math. Maybe it just, if I pick the right races, it'll make
it's hard
big
to
difference. Yeah, I know the math. I just don't know what the hell I'm just in a rush half the time. All right, let's rush on to race 3.
Okay, race 3, we're going to come up with a 6 furlong race. It's a claiming race of $12,500 claiming price, purse $23,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 2 races.
And a 6 furlong winner at Parx. Again, we find they stalk 1 out of 4, gets the lead and never gives it up. Caddy's uncle gets a little bit of a bonus with that red 1. 2 and 3, they get a bonus too, but not quite as big as the red. So the blue and the white, yeah, they still belong on the flag, but not as prominently. 4 through 7, they are penalized, 8 and out, a smaller penalty. So those middle horses get squeezed, Terry. The inside and the outside in race number 3, but we don't have to worry too much about the outside. But we got a blazer in the middle or in the front there.
Yeah, that's right. Look at that too. It's got 71.15% on the lead there, and then the 4 has got a little bit, almost 10%. And that's about it. The 1 has an overlay from 5 to 2 to like 5 to 1. The 3 has an overlay from 5 to 2, also to about 4 to 1. And then none of them show any par numbers since they scratched the only one that had it. And then 7, 2, 1, and 4 show C-zone numbers.
Race Masters, Will Rogers. Will Rogers. Some big shots hit in that track sometimes. Screen capture that because Race Masters had some nice winners yesterday. Christopher D'Souza, who won race 8 yesterday. Terry?
His 2-horse, his pick of the day, and mine didn't do very well. So we're 3 and 3 now.
3 and 3. Well, maybe there'll be another matchup today. We'll have Hagler Hearns, number 2, a fight we only saw 1 of that we should have saw 2 of for sure.
Yeah.
Boxing just doesn't put those kind of fights together anymore. I wish they did. It would be nice to see like a Bud Crawford face off against the Canelo, something. I know Canelo has a big size advantage, but maybe Crawford has a speed and technical advantage in there.
Yep.
They are 3 for 3. That's what I like about Dana White. He makes his guys fight in the UFC. Anyway, we're off tangents there. Normally, I would want to look at this horse, the 2-horse, Terry, and say, you know what, that horse could have an early speed advantage. You got to put that one in there. But boy, that guy really tails off at the end of races. And I tried many, many times to go ahead and get that done, but I couldn't find a way to put him in there. And we'll see in race number 3 that indeed our trip handicapping does show that full contact is going to be the one that has the lead, although Midnight Moonshine, a couple of closers that if they run their best races should be forwardly placed in there. Pretty wild degree of change from top to bottom in there. Same thing shows up for late speed. So you got horses that want to get out to the front that fade and horses that are in the back that want to come forward that could be far off the pace. And they should meet somewhere around the finish line, Terry. I think we'll see that in our top total pace. Minus the 2 and the 6. The other 4 in here pretty tightly mixed. About 75% of the time, the winner does come from the top 4 total pace horses, Terry. I think there's a pretty strong likelihood that number goes up today. Who do you think gets the top prize?
I like that number 3 horse, I guess that's her A. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race. Then the 4 Midnight Moonshine is my second choice. He also finished 3rd in his last race, can improve while trying dirt for the first time. And he has a high percentage winning jockey. Spirit's Hero, the 6, my third choice ran second versus similar in his last race at Parx Racing. And he has a high percentage winning trainer. The long shot is Caddy's Uncle, the 1 horse. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and the rail post was winning at a 25% clip.
Yeah, Race Masters giving us some more picks today from Mahoning Valley. So make sure, again, you screenshot that and go watch the Mahoning Rally races. Maybe there's some winners in there that can fatten your bankroll. That's the goal, no matter where the pick's from. Terry and I, Race Masters, Christopher D'Souza, Thomas, 22 to 1 Tom on 4 and Fridays. If you have some questions, you want some explanation on some of the handicapping stuff, you want us to look at a horse you feel we overlooked in a race, is there anything you'd like for us to do? Let us know in the comments section or follow up with me at HRT Rich on Twitter. I'm going to go with the one horse Caddy's Uncle in here, Mr. Terry, is my top choice. This one is going to drop in class in its third start after a layoff, and I think is an open race. But all of its fractions last time through the first half mile were much quicker, almost, I want to say universally, but a big percentage of the time, that's a sign of a horse that's going to put out another good effort in the next race. I guess pirate word there. This is probably your most consistent performer in the field, Terry. Doesn't really have a lot of variance, though, between its best races and its worst races. So if anybody pops a little bit, it might be difficult for I to run them down. Ira the Icon. The 7 horse gets my third call in here. It's another one that through the first half mile last time out ran pretty good fractions. This is normally a horse that shows its best at the end. So I'm hoping in this case, again, can connect the improved early pace with its more normal late speed advantage and add them together for another geometry X-squared answer. And then finally, Midnight Moonshine, the 4 horse track dropper from Woodbine, Terry. I think that is a track drop. Does have one pretty solid workout out of 3 at Parx. My question, though, is this horse is either run on turf or all weather. This is going to be the first time on regular dirt. I couldn't think of anything else to call it. And that regular dirt, you don't know how it's going to respond until you actually see it run on regular dirt.
Yep.
Could smoke these horses or it could get smoked by these horses. All right, race number 4 is when we're going to introduce something new. Hopefully my memory is right, Terry. But before we introduce something new, tell us what they're going to run for.
Well, it's a 1 mile race, and it's a claiming race, a $7,500 claiming price. Purse $21,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races.
And at a mile, the bias, only 15 races so far, so not a whole big data set to select from. Stalkers, again, that's a recurring theme. A third of the horses, 1 out of 3, going wire to wire. So middle up on the front is an advantage. Major rail bonus for out of ammo, 2 through 7. They play under par. 8 and out, Terry, a big bonus as well. So a barbell race. Be fast on the inside or be fast on the outside. And are you ready to introduce something new, Terry?
Yes, I am. Let's do that.
Drum roll, please. Should have had a sound effect ready for that, right? All right, race number 4, Terry. There it is. Trip notes. Terry and I have been diligently watching 6 tracks. Parx, since we do Parx. Gulfstream Park, because we do Gulfstream Park. Santa Anita, because it's one of the major tracks. Aqueduct, because it too is a major track. Oaklawn, because they have the biggest purses right now. And Fairgrounds, right? Because they're running some of the biggest races right now. We've gone through every race, watched every video since the beginning of the month. We got about 100 horses now in our trip notes. And whenever one trip note horse makes it to a race today or on any given day, we will have that trip note. It's going to be part of something we'll launch hopefully in about a month from now or under, where all of this data for every track, all of our trip notes, and a couple of other things we haven't seen on this show will be on one sheet for every race. Well, each race will have its own sheet. I mean, we won't be able to put a 10-horse race, 10 card into one sheet of paper. But until we come out with that, you'll be able to find any trip notes either on the show or I will post them over on my Twitter feed at HRT Rich, or we'll put them on Facebook or Horse Racing Today. We'll be on some social site. So the best way to make sure you don't miss our trip notes going forward is to follow us, Horse Race, the number 2 day, watch this show, or follow me on Twitter. We'll make sure that all of those race notes are available to you. All right, Terry. Notwithstanding the new race notes, something we've done for a while is predict who's going to have the lead and who will that be here.
Yeah, it'll be the 3 according to our information here, but all of them but the 7 show some kind of speed. The 7 is the only one that has a good par plus number, and the 1 also shows 1. And then the overlay on the 7 is from that's under even money to 5 to 2. And then the 3, 1, and 2 have the C zones.
And then our trip note here, Amalfi Lady, the 2 horse, which was one of the races Terry watched.
I
this
did.
one was closing in. Well, why don't you tell us what happened? Because
Well,
you saw the video.
Closed coming into the stretch in tight quarters, bumped several times, and just lost by a nose. Without the bumping, would have won this race for sure.
There you go. Let's see if it can win this one at a decent price, 6-1. Our trip handicapping lets us know for race number 4 that the 3-horse Creative Copy does its best. When it's up on the lead, the 6-horse wants to pressure. Everybody else wants to close in there. How close will this race mirror that? Well, 3-horse has a chance to get to the lead, but Moonlight in Heaven, the pressure horse, looks like it could be the quickest out of the gate, almost a length and a half faster than everybody else. Not a whole lot of speed to its inside to clear, except for the 2 and the 3. So should get to that quarter pole without much extra effort. Lost Luggage, the closer, along with Out of Ammo, another closer. They are the quickest down the stretch and a pretty good advantage over the rest of the field. But it looks like minus the 7, they'll have to hustle to get up there. And our top total pace horse is Lost Luggage. Again, 4 horses standing out above the rest, 9 points clear of Amalfi Lady, Moonlight in Heaven, Joy's Pride. 75% of the time, this quartet will produce the winner. Terry, we both landed on the same one.
That's right. Number 7, Lost Luggage, is my first pick. She won her last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last race speed rating, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Out of Ammo, the 1. She ran second in her last race. The rail post went in at 27% clip. She has a high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer's horses win 18% of the races when shipping a horse in. And then number 3, Creative Copy, is my third choice. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer. And then that 2 horse that had all that trouble last time is in this race this time. She ran second versus similar in her last race. And then my pick 4 for this race is I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3, 7 with the 1, 2, with the 2, 5, 7, with the 1, 8, 15. The cost is $36.
Well, this is going to be the race of death for me, because in this pick 4, I singled the 7. And in this pick 4, I singled the 7. So he better live up to this par plus and simulation odds. Hopefully he goes off at 5-2. That would be wonderful, in my opinion.
Would, yeah.
Yes, indeed. I don't know that that'll be the case, but he does have that strong par plus, does have that strong simulation favorite, is the top total pace horse. And to add to that list of impressive resume builders, this horse ran the top last race speed figure, 4 points clear of the next closest horse. Anytime a horse runs 3 or better, you better really investigate that. Number 3, Creative Copy, is my second choice in here. Only class dropper in the field, Terry. That should work to its advantage, and is, again, the horse that puts in the best effort most consistently. So you're going to have to work to beat that one. It's not going to give it up to you. I have more confidence, Terry, in your trip note than you do. I put him third.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, he just missed at this level last out. And as I go through my race notes at the end of every day to track what we're doing, I find that just missed at this level last out is a reoccurring theme for horses that didn't miss this time and actually went into the winner's circle. And then finally, number 5, Gormley Girl. I don't know what a Gormley Girl is, but maybe I should Google that. Someone that just missed as well at this level last time out. And I think cutting back in distance a little bit could be the difference today. My pick 4, singling that 7, race of death, 1, 2, 6 over the 2, 3, 7 over the 1, 8, 13, 15. And I think I could have gone on another 6 horses in the last leg there, Terry, and still probably not felt all that comfortable. Mine is an $18 pick 4.
Correct.
How long do we have to the first race?
About 7 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So we have plenty of time in there. Christopher D'Souza, race number 4. The 3 horse is going to win. Creative Copy with the 1 and the 2. Chris, wishing both of my pick 4 tickets expiring right there. It's not very friendly of you. All right, we're going to make it to the first of the 2 in the middle of the card, race number 5. Now, Terry, you could probably get 5 and 6 done before race 1 gets started.
Yeah, it's 7 furlongs, claiming 7,500 purse 21,000 for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 3 races.
Again, much like the opener at 7 furlongs, we're looking for stalkers. A small percentage, probably the smallest percent at Parx, goes wire to wire, about 14%. The rail is fair, so Cloudy Time should get a good go of it. Big bonus for the 2 and the 3 wearers. And then everything from 4 and out, the closer you are to rail, the better you are. But all of them underperform par for this, for post position wise. Race number 5, Terry. A lot of speed in here except for the outside horse.
That's right. All of them show speed except for that 7. And a couple of them are pretty close together, so they may go head and head, that 1 and that 3. 2 has an overlay of small overlay from 3 to 1 to 7 to 2. The 4 has a nice overlay from 5 to 2 to 10 to 1, and the 7 has an overlay from about 8-5 to 3 to 1. None of them show any par numbers whatsoever. 3, 4, and 5 show the best C-zone numbers.
Yeah, again, this race, just from a color standpoint, looks like it's pretty wide open in there. So let's see if anybody has a race advantage tactically. Well, the 3 and the 5, if they can get to the front, they should grow in confidence. And it does look like the 3 will have a good shot to get there. Hidden Cash or Cachet. Which one is that, Terry? But those two, I mean, it's a pretty competitive start, as we saw in the simulations. Everybody's going to be getting after it, except for My JoJo. My JoJo better have some JoJo at the end of the race, but it looks like Dune Jumper has the most JoJo at the end of the race. Although My JoJo won't be all that far off. Our top total pace readings tell us that this is going to be a pretty competitive, well, maybe not. Looks like the 2, 4, and 6, the even, just bet the even horses, Terry. And you got yourself a winning trifecta or perhaps exacta. What do you think?
All right. I like the 2. She Drops in Class Today has the highest high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer's horses win 20% of the claiming races he has them competing in. And the best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, actually tied with another horse. Number 1, Cloudy Time is my second choice, won her last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer's horses win 23% of the claiming races, horses in. And let's see. Then 7, My JoJo, the one that you were dissing a little bit, finished 3rd versus similar last race, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. She's my 3rd pick. My long shot is Forest Maiden. She has a high percentage winning trainer. So
I'm going to start off with the 6 horse, one that you don't have. I don't know if that's good or bad for me, but is a left arrow horse. Again, closers that have enough early speed to get involved early on. This one's going to be close to the front, as we see again. Everybody's got a shot to be in the front here today, Terry, but it has some of the most late speed. So I think this horse will sit right off the pace, turn on the jets as they come around the corner for home. For new trainer, Elliot Martinez Soto. First race off the claim, a 27% angle for Mr. Soto, who's winning at about 24% at the track overall. Doesn't enter a whole lot of races, but when he does, he wins. So let's go Hidden Cachet. Pachelbel, the 2 horse, your top choice. My second choice in here, Terry. This one's moving down in class, running the classic 3rd start after layoff. If you dig through the past performances, I like to look at patterns. The last time this horse had a 3-race cycle, that 3rd race, by a long shot, was the best performance of the 3. Number 1, Cloudy Times, rides that rail, gets a little bit of a bonus in there. This one's actually going the other direction. It's moving up in class in the 3rd start after a layoff. The only other 3rd start looked a lot like the prior start, so I don't expect a whole lot of improvement out of Cloudy Times today. And then finally, My JoJo. This one was really a tough call for me, Terry. If I knew I was going to diss it, I probably would have went with Dune Jumper instead. But this one has a lot less races than the 4. And because of that, there might be some hidden talent that we haven't seen yet out of My JoJo. All right, we got a few minutes, Terry, to find our way through the next race. So let's go ahead and knock out race number 6 before we describe the ongoings in race number 1.
All right, it's 6 furlongs, maiden claiming race, $16,000 claiming price, $22,000 purse for maidens, 4-year-olds and upward.
Yeah, maiden claiming 16 for 6 furlongs. We're looking at, Terry, horses that, again, they want to sit in the front half of the field. Doesn't have to be on the lead. Still 25% do win wire to wire. Rail bonus again for Gold Bling. 2 and 3, a smaller bonus. 4 through 7, a penalty. 8 and out, not penalized as much, close to par. In race number 6, Terry, again, inside speed could be beneficial. And there's one in there that should be blazing when the gates open.
Yeah, that 2 horse shows a lot of speed, and it should get that quarter pole first. The 3 shows an overlay from 2-1 to 5-1, and the 5 shows an overlay from about 9-5 to 7-2. The 3 has a small par plus number, and the 5, 6, and 3 have the best C zones.
Again, just looking at the sporadic colors in there, really no big standout. Great Pumpkin, the only one scoring all the way across the board. I don't even know if that's light green. Maybe it's a white horse there. Back to race number 5, Christopher D'Souza likes the 3 with the 7 and the 6 in his exact the trifecta box. Our trip handicapper for race number 6 points out that, well, a lot of these horses want to be middle back. The 5 does have a little bit of versatility and Raise the Roof of Charlie, something along those lines. When they get cracking out of the gates, it's pretty competitive, folks. Nobody really with a big advantage. We don't know what the 6 horse is going to bring to the table. That tells me that late speed should have extra edge. The Great Pumpkin from Charlie Brown, a little bit quicker than Raise the Roof Charlie. Our top total pace horse is the 3 horse, the Great Pumpkin, 7 points clear of the next closest horse. Maybe Gold Bling is one you could take off your list. I don't know. Let's see what Warrior Special brings, Terry. Let's see what you bring in terms of who's going to win this one.
I like the 7. Pacific States drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer whose horses win 32% of the maiden claiming races. He has a horse competing in. He has a high percentage winning jockey. Pine Alley, the 2 is my second choice, drops in class today, switches a high percentage winning jockey, and can improve returning to a sprint. Raise the Roof Charlie is the 5. He drops in class today. His best start speed is fast among today's starters. He got a good workout on March 9th. And then the 3, the Great Pumpkin, he finished 3rd in his last race, and his best start speed is close as the average winning speeds. My long shot.
I'm going to go with the 7 to going to make a big mid move after showing some early speed. Should be a touch better in the second with the maintenance workout. The Great Pumpkin is that top total pace horse, left arrow horse, going to be closing, has a lot of late speed. Pine Alley likely to be the pace setter. Given to give a go at the lowest level of its career, 2/3 in 2 races at Parx. And finally, Raise the Roof Charlie. I really wanted to rank him higher off the top last race, speed figure in the drop in class. But trainer Stephen Krebs, 0 for 30 after a long break, 45 to 90 days, and just won 5 of 100 of his last 4 races. Race number 1 is off and running right now, Terry, and the 3 horse has indeed popped its way to the lead right now. We thought it would get to the lead, Parisian Vibes. Interesting that it's 9-2, Terry. We had it closer to 5-2. Opening quarter in a kind of slowish 24 seconds. Really not all that quick for 7 furlongs. You'd expect something a little bit of that. He does have a trio of horses keeping him honest, though. They got the 1 to the inside, the 2 to the inside, the 6 to the outside. He's going to have to run in between a lot of horses right here. Does look like the 2 horse right now is going to give the 3 a run for its money up front, Terry. Has taken the lead right now. The 3 is in there, hanging in there, Terry, for a second place finish. It looks like the 6 is starting to fade a little bit. The 1 is really on the way back there. The 5 horse is the one that's pushing up now. It's going to find its way challenged at, 3 horses trying to come back a little bit on the 2. The 6 horse on the outside is coming a little bit in this wide open race. So it looks like maybe the 6 horse, Terry, is going to, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but the 6 horse is moving the best at the end here. It's going to go 6. The 3 came back on that too. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. 6, 3, 2, and 5. 6, 3, 2, and 5.
Oh, you got the superfecta.
Yeah, well, it's a 5 horse field, Terry. with you putting the 1 in there and me putting the 6 in there, if one of those 3 horses doesn't come up, it would have all been the same, right?
Yeah.
And the 6 horse, what was the reason for that? 3rd after a layoff with those better race internals, folks.
Ooh, the 6 just cut that 5 off.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be DQ'd though, Terry.
No, I don't think it's enough to cause anything to happen.
And that would be actually the best. Well, it would have been better if the 2 had finished 4th. But 6, 3, 2, 5 in the opener, Terry. And the good order for the trifecta, for the superfecta. As Terry mentioned, we keep track of that, where we do a $2 to win on our top bet, a $1 exacta box on our top 2, 50-cent try on our top 3, and a 10-cent superfecta box for our top 4. How you doing, Umet? Good to see you today. If you're watching us for the first time, if you're on Twitter or Facebook or wherever you might be watching, if you're on YouTube, I did put a link to the YouTube channel in the description at the very top of the comments. if you're watching on anything other than YouTube, can you kindly hit that link and then hit the subscribe button? Even if you watch us on YouTube, because we're just I think we're about 100 people away from hitting a milestone of 5,000. The real goal is 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible, because Google unlocks some tools for creators when you get to 10,000. Very few accounts get there. So if you could help us get there, we'd greatly appreciate it. Those extra tools really help your channel accelerate its growth. I would appreciate it. I know Terry would appreciate it. All the people at Horse Racing Today would appreciate that. While you're watching on Twitter, kindly hit the retweet button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that share button, copy that link, share it across all your social sites so all your friends, whether they like horse racing or they're about to find out that they like horse racing, can know about us. And of course, follow us on Facebook, because our good friend Swiss Army Sean puts a lot of great information out there today. Carlos, let's see what you're saying in English. Who won the first race at Parx? The 6 horse won the first race at Parx, then the 3, then the 2, and then the 5. Our friend Kaisi with his picks today at Parx. Race 1, the 1. Well, that one's in the books. Screenshot this as well, folks, to see how Kaisi does. Our friend Boss Bigga, how you there, my man? Watching the second time, I like your YouTube. You watch it. Bet, check my paperwork all at once. All right, beautiful, boss. We appreciate that as well. And soon, as I mentioned, on our show, we only can do 1 track a day, unless, of course, we start rolling in the money and we become real creators on YouTube. Funny, Terry, I got an email from an advertiser saying, "Hey, creator." And I feel like to myself, knowing how this operates with YouTube and all the social media stuff and where we're at, we're kind of like on the cusp of getting somewhere. Yeah. But we're still like in that level where, we're not creators. Not yet.
Not yet. Nope.
But when we get there, I'll be long and gray, probably missing all my hair. Race number 7, Terry, is what we're going to do next.
That's right.
Let's be creative.
Let's see here. All right. It's 6 furlongs. It's a claiming race, $5,000 claiming price, purse $18,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards, which have not won a race since September 19th.
And at 6 furlongs, nothing's changed. Stalkers, inside speed's probably a better place to be than outside speed, Terry. A bunch of them, about 1 out of 4, go wire to wire. So in race number 7, we got a huge field of horses here, Terry, and all of the speed, all of the Buffalo girls are on the outside.
Yeah. Well, in here, it's the 4 and the 5 that have the most speed. They could go head to head. I was
looking at something else. I was looking at the Par Plus.
Okay.
Ding, ding.
They could go head to head. Actually, they've got an objection at Parx on that first race, and they're looking at it over and over where that 6 cut that 5 off. So anyway, the 13 shows a nice overlay from 2-1 to 12-1. The 15 shows an overlay from about 4-5 to 7-2. Par numbers 13, 15, and 4 have par numbers. And then all of them have some decent C-zone numbers.
Well, I think just looking at that, the question is, would the 5 had passed the 2, right?
Yeah, that's what they're probably looking at.
Yeah, because if you make the decision that the 5 passes the 2 horse, then you have to put the 5 up and the 6 all the way in 4th.
Yep.
So I don't know that that's necessarily the case. He was making up ground on the 2 at the end. And the question is, did he lose 3/4 of a length on that bump or half a length? I'm going to say it's 50-50. What would you do, Terry?
It is 50-50, but I would tend to put that 6 down. Then that makes my top pick a winner.
Well, that's why you would do it. Let's just tell the truth.
No, he did interrupt the momentum of that 5 quite a bit. So
where do you hear it in Spanish? Roosevelt, we'd love to have a Spanish person join us and kind of tell them what's going on. Park's first race was won by the highest paying. Yeah, maybe for now. I see you in Spanish. We'd like to, again, speak in Spanish. We can't. I already told you. So they're arguing over who won what race there. I love it. Fight. Let's go ahead and pay-per-view that like Mike Tyson and what's his name? Another one? I forget his name right now. Jake Paul. That's it. All right. A lot of horses in race number 7 and this is going to really be a race where your position is going to make a huge difference. Majority of the field wants to be middle forward. So maybe if they run a little too hot, having a little bit of versatility like Star Weaver or a closer like the 4 or the 11 can make a big difference. Early speed tells us that Emperor Score, Captain Chaz, but really, this does tell us that it could get pretty spicy at the beginning of this race, especially with a big field. The outside speed's going to have to turn on the jets to find their way to the front. So I wouldn't be shocked if we do see late speed play a big role. And if that's the case, Strawberry Cone and Star Weaver, the two horses that were also eligibles, that are now in the race, they might be able to make good use of that. Our late speed plus early speed tells us the two AEs, particularly Star Weaver, about a length better than everybody else. That's the lone PC in there, Terry, too. The most versatile horse with the most total pace. And he did make your picks.
Yeah, I like in this race the one Big City Bob. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He switches to a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Empire Score, the 8, is my second choice. Finished third versus Simmer in his last race. 15, Star Weaver, my third choice. Won his last race at Parx Racing. Has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 25% of the starts after dropping a horse off a win. The long shot is Amigos Guitar. He has finished in the money in 5 races at Parx Racing, winning 2 of those starts, and the distance won't be a problem. And of course, I put in a pick 4 here. I used the 1, 4, 8, 15 with the 1, 6. I singled the 3, and then I finished up with the 1 with the 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. I believe that's a $20 pick 4, and also they didn't disqualify the 6. That race is now official. No superfecta because there's only 4 horses in the race.
Yes, that's so. I should at least get credit for the trifecta then, Terry.
Yeah, you will.
I won't get credit because it was the 4th pick.
Oh, that's right. You won't. No,
I mean that's pretty bad. That's poor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I messed up my pick 4 a little bit, but I just went ahead and corrected that while we're doing that. My long shot is 10 Rugler in there, so keep an eye on that long. That is a long shot right in there. Arrived with the job ambulance. Javier Gattiera gave in the first 1 to 5 with the JoJo ambulance. I'm looking at the 13 horse in here, Terry. That's a bomb. That's my long shot in there. Race Masters, Strawberry Cone. Big overlay right here, according to our simulation odds. Great chance to run a speed figure above par. Again, that's telling you that in our 10,000 simulations, approximately 1 out of 3 times, it ran a speed figure of above 82 in there. I'm kind of surprised that horse is such a long shot on the morning line. I don't think it will be when the race gets started, Terry. But the reason I put that one on top, if you go through the past performances, almost, I'd say half of them, if not more of them, if it lived up to that ability, the horse would smoke this field. I don't know that. There must be something I'm missing. I hope not when the race is over. The 15 horse Star Weaver, any of his last 10 races would be good enough to win this race. The only problem with Star Weaver, Terry, is this one has been off since October 2022. Been off for a long time. Good chances this one comes back rusty. I would have loved to have seen an excellent workout in the preps getting ready. They were all mundane on the track. Maybe they're doing something in private they're not showing us. We'll see. I mean, there's a reason why, one thing I was told a long time ago by a longtime track veteran is there's a reason why trainers want in as AEs. They feel like this race gives them a shot. I think we'll find out with the 15 horse if it's ready after all that time in the barn. Next up for me is the 8 horse Empire Score. 3rd race after a layoff. Was better the last time the horse made a 3-race cycle. Usually makes a strong mid move. So this horse sits right off the pace, comes out of that turn with a ton of momentum. And let's see if it can propel it to the front. So I don't really think you want horses coming off the back in a deep field. Could find themselves in a lot of trouble. And then finally, the one Big City Bob. It's going to make its classic 3rd start after a layoff at the lowest level in its last 10 races and did show some signs of hope last time with improved early pace. Like I said, I would like to put a lot more horses than my top 4 in my pick 4, but I'm going to go 4 by 2 by 4 by 2, and I think that one is $36, Terry.
32, I think.
Yeah, right. 16 times 2, 32. So those are my pick 4s for the day as well. Let's move off to race number 8, 3 to go in this 10 race card, Terry. Start us off with the only time we're going to see this distance today, or yesterday for that matter.
Yeah, it's a 1.70 miles, optional claiming race, $16,000 claiming price. If you elect to put your horse in there to be claimed, it's a purse of $25,000 for fillies 3-year-olds, which have started for $16,000 or less, which have never won 2 races, or a claiming price of $16,000, or which have never won 2 races, or claiming price of $16,000. Hey, they said it twice.
He's and Boss really likes that 10 because he's definitely going to make it his big play. And he said it twice as well. Race number 7, Christopher D'Souza coming in with the 4, Cuatro Ocho. I don't know, what's the XB mean? Times 8? Is that what you're going to do? I don't know. XB. Is that your best bet?
Exacta box.
Exacta box. Yes. Okay, Richard. Ding, 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 ding. J. Marco was right. The gray matter definitely deteriorates fast when you cross the other side of the hill. Terry, I'm going to talk about now the. Did you do your picks? No, you just did the. All right. So the 1.70 miles shape of a winner, early speed, 43% of the time they go wire to wire. That's a big number there, Terry. There's a rail penalty. 2 and 3 get a bonus. And then 4 through 7, a small discount. 8 and out get a bonus again. So where's all the speed here, Terry?
Well, it's the 5, but also the 1 shows some speed. So you know, if that 1 gets a good break, it could outbreak that 5. We just have to wait and see. The 2 has an overlay from about almost 5 to 2 to 4 to 1. 3 has an overlay of about just under 4 to 1 to 5 to 1, and the 5 has an overlay, small overlay, from 5.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. None of them have any par numbers since they scratched the only one with it, and all but the 2 show decent C zones.
Yeah, and I would say with that 4 scratch, you should benefit the 5 into the most, and to some extent the 1 as well. Maybe speeds up the 3 too. Trip handicapping wise, again, 1 of 5 want to be forwardly placed. We saw that in the simulations. It does look like they will both be up front there. Corona Campeon. Clearly, the 2 and 6 are going to be off the pace. This trio has to be really careful that they don't burn one another out. If they do, look out for that 6 horse with a 2-length advantage over the rest of the field. Probably going to be about 2 lengths off again. So this could be a case where the speed fades and the closers are coming and they just bobbing their heads at the finish line to see who gets the job done. Looks like the 6 horse is the one that might get the job done. Slight nod over the Corona Campeon. Terry, they're 7 points clear of the next closest horse. Again, 5 points is more than enough to highly consider those horses. Maybe a very strong 6-3 exacta box. Terry, what do you got?
I like the 6. Almost made it my pick of the day, but I waited till the next race for that. But Next Girl, she comes in from Laurel after finishing second while being bumped at the 8th pole to try Parx Racing. She has a high percentage winning jockey. Breezy Dance, the was my second choice, won her last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer who in the last 14 days have been in the money 4 out of 5 starts with 2 of those wins. And then 2, Maria Says So is my third choice, drops in class today and switches to high percentage winning jockey. The 5 is my long shot, won her last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet $6 on my 16 that's left on the 6 to win.
6 on the 6 to win, almost his bet of the day. We do have Christopher D'Souza was ready to challenge you there, Terry, because his bet of the day is in here too. Yes, he says that the what was race 8? I know he put it in there somewhere. I saw it. Race 8, pick of the day. The number 2 horse, Maria Says So. Why is that one your pick of the day, Christopher D'Souza? Let us know. We'd appreciate that. And then over here, that's next race, pick of the day. Oh, he's going to go to the next race. He's feeling confident, Terry. He's like, I don't care what race you pick the pick of the day. I got you.
He's going to challenge me.
Yes, indeed. He wants. Hey, I said it was going to go to game 7. It's going to come down to a 3-2 count at the bottom of the 9th with the bases loaded. I'm going to go with the 8 horse Next Girl. This one is making a track drop. as well as a class drop. That's always a pretty good sign. And it does have a Z pattern. Once again, just to kind of highlight what that means to me. Could mean something to other folks. But you see here, dropping from Laurel. I do think from Laurel to Parx is a little bit of a track drop. You see here, it ran a 76, then a 69 in the middle, and then an 86. So started here, kind of rest, and then a second wind. Z pattern. Those tend to do all right. La Colorada, as we pointed out, this one really benefits from the other speed scratching. Won its last race, but it was even better than it looks as a win in there, because at 7 furlongs, the horse ran faster fractions than it did at the prior race at 6.5 furlongs. And as I've said 1,000 times, probably too many, you run longer and you run faster. It means you ran doubly fast. Number 1, Breezy Dance, huge pop in winning the maiden claiming 20 grand race last time out. Getting a little extra distance in here today, Terry, could be helpful. I'm just worried that there was such a gap between that race's performance and any of the others in there that this horse is either going to be at a new level, in which case it'll crush me, or it's going to regress, in which case it could crush people who back the horse. And then finally, number 3, Corona Campeon. Only 5 races to its credit so far. The only time this horse won was the only other time it ran a route, and that race was the best of its career. So maybe the trainer finally realized it's not a sprinter. 2 races to go, starting with the duel to come between Chris and Terry, the brawl to settle it all. And it's going to happen under what conditions, Terry?
Well, it's a 6 furlong race. It's an optional claiming race with $25,000 claiming price, purse $26,000 for fillies 3-year-olds which have started for $25,000 or less and which have never won 2 races, or a claiming price of $25,000 which have never won 2 races, or a claiming price of $25,000. So anyway,
Terry's tired right now. We'll have to give him a break before he gets to talk again. But if you're new to the show, you're watching us on Twitter, we did drop a link to the YouTube channel in the comments. Kindly click on that and hit the subscribe button. Help us to get to 5,000. That's our first milestone. But we really do want to hit that 10,000 milestone as quickly as possible in terms of subscribers, so we can get all that extra juice from YouTube. Again, we appreciate the comments, all the interaction. We will post the exact starting times for every race in the description below once we're off the air, so you can come back and watch each race individually before it starts. All that interaction helps us with all of the algorithms. Again, 6 furlongs, we're looking for tactical speed. A bunch go wire to wire. Inside is better than outside, Terry. So it looks like all of the speed is on the inside.
Yeah, the 1, 2, and 4 show the most speed in the inside. But, a lot of these horses have some speed. And then the 1 has an small overlay from 5.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. The 2 has a small overlay from almost 4 to 1 to 9 to 2. The 8 has a decent overlay from about 8.5 to 6 to 1. None of them show any par numbers, and all but the 9, which has very small, have pretty decent C zones.
The next row is a 6, not the 8. Did I say the 8?
Yeah, you did, but that's all right.
All right. Why I get confused? I had this thing in English. I don't know what happened. It's no longer in English, and the translate button's not there anymore. So I'm sorry. Can you translate it, Terry?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Yeah, so that we can speak in, so we know what's being said there. All right. So race number 9, Terry went through all of the particulars for the data in there. And a lot of horses with some speed, they do match up for the C zone, so they should be comfortable up on front. Our trip handicapping, look, a lot of these horses want to be middle forward, Terry. If they really blast it out, the Sesame Street horse here, that 4, could be a standalone if it had the most late speed. When the race does get going, there's plenty of gas, Terry, to pour on the fire. I wouldn't be surprised to see the fractions a little on the quick side. Again, I think that does give the horses with a little bit of late speed an edge. Fantastique, that one has the most late speed, but probably going to be way off the pace. So it's really hoping that this group burns it up. Our top total paces, 4 of them in the dark green there, Terry. The 2, the 1, the 9, and the 6. All right. This race looks pretty wide open, Terry. Another one where all the button might work. And yet somehow you, Christopher D'Souza, have the best bet of the day and the most open race of the day. So I'm curious to see what you like and why.
I like the 3, April Clover. She comes in from Churchill Downs after finishing second and has a bullet workout on March 12th. Drops in class today and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then I like the 1. She won her last race of Parx Racing. The Rail Post is winning a 25% clip. She has a high percentage winning trainer. Burning Embers, the 2 is my third choice. Won her last race of Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer. And then Swan's Island, the 9, won her last race of Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to bet my remaining money, the $10 a win, on the 3 horse,
April Clover. All right, that one. And Christopher D'Souza says, I'm going to put 15 to win on the 5 with the 2. And the 4, not even remotely interested in the 3 horse, Terry. I think, Christopher, you might want to add that 3 to the back of your list, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. For me, I like Burning Embers, the 2 horse. The only other time this horse made a second start after a layoff was the race after its debut. And man, did that jump huge in performance. If he can do the same thing in the second start off a layoff as he did in his second career start, he wins here, and he does so easily. Again, big if, the biggest word in the English dictionary. Maybelline, the 1 horse, gets my second choice in here, Terry. This is one of those Barry Metal Alpha angles that win at least 15%, 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row, and it has probably its best workout in between races. This horse is going to be sharp again today. Fantastic. The 8 horse in there, Cherry. Big overlay according to our simulation odds. In fact, it is the simulation favorite in here. It is a class dropper. The lone race at Parx was by far the best of its career, so maybe a hidden horse for the course. And then, Terry, that April Clover. We talked about this yesterday, Terry, and we talked about it once before. In fact, I missed one yesterday. I put it as my 3rd pick that went on and won at a decent price. That was that speed horse that went wire to wire. So with this 3 horse, this is April Clover. It is a 3-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it last ran in November. That means the horse back then was 2 years old.
That's right.
2-year-olds are not allowed to have first Lasix.
Yep. Right.
They have to wait till they're 3. So the horse showed speed. I love that. I love horses that show speed with first Lasix. I love that. This horse has speed, bleeds probably. That's why they put it on the shelf. And then it came back with that Lasix and ran a bullet workout. If this horse follows that trend at all, it could be your winner and could perhaps run away from the pack at the end. But I do think it'll have its work cut out for it in a deep field. That's one of the reasons why I like that 3 horse. Barry Race Masters, Barry Meadow, cool dude. I love Barry Meadows. Did you meet him? I never met him. I did meet him over the phone, and I agree. He was a very cool dude. And as I mentioned yesterday, if you go to his website and you order any of his work, you can. I emailed him, and I actually had a phone call with him, and he signed the book for me. Tomorrow I'll pull it out and see if I can. I don't see it over there, so I would pull it out right now. Maybe I can do that while we get ready for race number 10, Terry.
Okay.
You tell me the horse for this race, please. Terry said he likes the 3 horse. Christopher D'Souza says it's the 5 horse as his best bet of the day. And I said I think the 2 horse can win this race easily if it improves. So pick one of the 3. Terry and Christopher D'Souza, they're going for the championship belt, man. They're going to, do the Aaron Rodgers tomorrow to see which one is the king of best bets. All right, let's go to the last race of the day. Terry, again, 6 furlongs.
All right. So it's 6 furlongs, and it's a purse claiming race of $15,000. And it's a purse $28,000 for fillies and mares 4 years and upward, which have not won a race since December 19th. Claiming races for $12,500 or less are not considered, or which have never won 4 races.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes to race 2, Terry. So let's giddy up and go as if though we're front runners. Terry, again, inside speed does the best. There was one of them in here that had jetpacks when the gates open. It's out. So that means the speed moves to the outside.
That's right. Well, the 9 shows the most speed, and the only other one is the 8. The 5 has an overlay of about 7 to 5 to 4 to 1. The 7 has an overlay of from almost 7-1 to 12-1. All but the 1 and 9 show some kind of Parx numbers, and all but the 1 and 6 show pretty nice C zones.
Yeah, if I had a chance, has any early speed, we'll find out in the trip handicapping. It could be a gringo horse. All right. Race number 10 for the last time. We do see, well, it wants to be towards the back. Pretty balanced race. The 11 horse brings some versatility in here. When the gates do open, it does look like the 9 horse is going to be where it wants to be. AG&C, a length quicker than Men Did We Stand. Really not a whole lot of speed to its inside. We'll have to work, but should be able to get towards the front. Its confidence could grow it better because that late speed's terrible. Buxom, Peace, Love, and Karma. If I had a chance, boy, all of these except for AG&C have some closing ability. So AG&C better make sure it controls the pace and doesn't go too fast. Our top total pace horses, really competitive race except for Peace, Love, and Karma. Too bad for that one. And AG&C, only 4 points separating all of these. Wide open affair, Terry, and we landed on the same one. Go fast because they're lining up.
Yeah, I like If I Had a Chance to 5, my first choice, won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick now. Has the highest last race speed rating and a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like the 2 as my second choice, likes Parx Racing. She finished in the money 80% of the races, winning 27% of those starts. The distance won't be a problem. She's been in the money 55% of the races and won 20% of the races. Number 11, Canoodle, is my third choice. She finished 5th her last race as a favorite, but the trainer she has wins 29% of the time when bringing a beaten favorite back. She also has a high percentage winning jockey. 8, Men Did We Stand, won her last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey.
I'm going to start off at If We Had a Chance. One of those top last race speed figure types, 5 points clear of the next closest horse. This loves Parx, better from the middle out. So getting extra distance should help that. Men Did We Stand, going to drop in class after a win. That's pretty interesting right there. And ran much quicker fractions. Cabra Chica, another Parx lover, making the 3rd start after a layoff and much better as well in its last start. And then finally, Canoodle is a track dropper for Jamie Ness, coming in from Laurel. Cutting back in distance is going to help Jamie Ness, and he'll put what that horse needs in it to get the job done. All right, race number 2. Everybody but the 6 and 7 have lined up. Our pick 4 start right here. Terry is singling up the 3, which is at the moment your 4 to 5 favorite. Is probably going to be a part of the early speed according to our simulations, but that could go to the 4, who's your second choice right now at 9 to 5. The 6 horse, the only other horse in this group that is under 10 to 1. So that should be 3, 6, 4 is how we lined them up. That's how the bettors lined them up. Jessica Paquette about to let us know how they're going to run as they're all loaded. The 4 horse kicking up some dirt, Terry. The 7 horse is kind of being a little bit reluctant. They're backing it out. She got rearing his head a little bit, just fighting a little bit with the assistant starter there. But he's in. He jumps up. 4 horses kicking up, Terry. That one wants to go, baby. And we think it wants to be on the lead. And boom, they're off and running. And a little bit of bumping there between the 3 and the 4, kind of disturbing the 4's path to the front, giving the chance for the 3 horse, Whiskey Prize, to get to the lead. The 2 horse right to its inside, the gray Lord CB. But the 3 horse does clear pretty easily. You have the 4 horse there now tracking in 3rd, and then a gap of about a horse to the 6 horse, Humble Joe. And then on the rail, the 1 horse, Social Joe. Way in the back, you have the other 2 horses. I don't know, Shea Decapture and Dr. Magic. They went through the opening quarter in a pretty slow, Terry, 25 and 1. That should favor the 2 front runners, Whiskey Prize and now Rambling in My. The 2 horse, Lord CB, dropping to 3rd. And now we have the 6 horse, and they're the 3 that we thought had the best chance to win, finding its way into contention into 3rd. A big gap to Social Joe. They went through the opening half. They're walking, Terry, in 50 and 4. That's why the 6 horse found its way up into the contention there. It could be difficult with the slow fractions for those horses from the 1 and then the 5 and the 7 to find their way into the race at the end. The 3 horse has taken control, Terry. Looks like he's going to give your single an excellent shot to come through early on in the pick 4. The 6 horse is trying to find its way up the rail there. May or may not get it done. The 1 horse is giving it a go too. Right now, it's the 3, the 6, the 1 is in the mix. He might screw up the trifectas for here, Terry. But your pick 4 looks like it's going to get clear. 3 horses running away. The only question is, does the 1 horse screw up our trifectas? I'm going to say the answer is probably no. It's going to go 3, 6, 4, 1 in an ice cold trifecta for both of us, Terry. So that's probably going to pay a whopping $2.08.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you had you had the 3 favorites in there.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, that's race number 2. These are all of our picks for the rest of the day. I was thinking about singling the 3 there too, but I figured in these cheap races, and by doing that, Terry, you can say thank you to me, because if I had singled it, the 6 horse would have got up there and got the score, right?
That's true. It would have. Yeah.
Back to race 10, Christopher D'Souza with the 4, 7, and 1 with the 4 as his top choice. Barry Meadows, the man, pleasure. Oh, you did work for him. Nice to hear that. Did Gene C disappoint the last time? I think he did. So this time he might do it again. That's in race number 9. Yeah, let's go back to race number 10. Let's look at AG&C, which I think is the 9 horse, right? Yep, he is. So that's a pretty aggressive, got to the lead, huge lead right there at the first call. Did so with a little bit slower pace. Same fractions, though, as a mile 70, as a mile 7. Yeah, so that's a little bit longer. So probably press the pace. And this is one of the things I absolutely hate here. You're the lone speed horse. You go 4 lengths clear. So that means you ran about a second faster than everybody else. He could have geared that down to maybe 24.5, which is pretty reasonable fractions. And then just look at that. Boom, just disappears at the end of the race. Third start after a layoff. Let's see, didn't show any improved, any regressed across the board there. And same pattern, get out and fade. It looks like the 4th start after the layoff for this guy is when you might want to consider that one. Again, Don Johnson, how are you, Don? We put those pick 4s in there for you today. Thanks. Again, if you have suggestions, let us know. Terry and I are more than willing to oblige them. Tom Diemel, 210, 210, 210. Yeah, that's probably what the exacta, trifecta, superfecta, everything's going to pay for that race. Hopefully Tom and I find some bigger ones at Rose Hill on 4 and Friday. Hopefully Terry and I find some bigger ones tomorrow or later on in this card. We'll be back for Gulfstream Park about 10 minutes before post for that one. Again, if you're watching us on Twitter, thank you very much. Kindly go to the top of the comments, click on the link to the YouTube channel. Whether you watch us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, well, not on Instagram, or YouTube, we'd greatly appreciate you subscribing on YouTube to help us get that number to 10 grand so we can get all of those shiny new tools from the folks at Google. And we'd greatly appreciate that. And then I think that's about it for today, Terry. Oh, again, race 4, we did introduce something new today, which we'll be doing going forward. We do have race notes for the tracks that we don't have. And right now we're covering 6 tracks, and soon we're going to enlist Tom. He knows it, but nothing new for him, to bring that number up to 9 tracks. All the race notes that are not involved on the tracks that we cover on our show, which are Parx and Gulfstream, we'll expand that list when Gulfstream is no longer doing the championship meet. You'll find them either on my Twitter at HRTRich or on Horse Racing Today's at Horse Racing, the number 2 day, at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, while TikTok is still in business. All right, Terry. I want to say a quick thank you to, again, Adrian Rango, along with Aruna Chaminda Kanguda. Oh, God, I hope I didn't screw that up. Shushana Shore, Jimmy Little, Rebecca Paula Rhodes, and Yasin Balina for the love on Facebook. We greatly appreciate that. You watch the races when you guys and then switch to the other apps, Twitter, you can't. Okay, yeah. So thank you for that advice too. Scary Creations, thanks for joining us. The last time at the 15,000 level, agency only lost by a neck. Same trader and rider, so maybe a revision in class. I'm going to want to see that revision. But for those of you back in Aegean, we hope it does.
It was a 6.5 furlong race, close to the 6 furlongs today. So
we don't have to win them all, just most. All right, Terry. Any
Well,
final thoughts from you
yeah.
before we skedaddle and prepare for Gulfstream?
Yeah, Roosevelt wants to know who won that second race at Parx. It was number 3 Whiskey Price that won it and paid $360. Other than that, everybody have a great week. Hope you win like crazy this week if you're betting horses, and anything else you're doing, I hope you win it. So
Well, that ice cold superfecta for $3, Terry, right? That's what costs when you take 3 of them together. Paid $5.90. So you almost doubled your money. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
right?
That's not bad. That's, you bet $3 and you get back $5.90. That's almost double your money.
So. Yeah, if I can do that with all of my money every race, we'd be billionaires by the end of the day. I did see something on Twitter yesterday, Terry. Let me ask you this question, and then we'll go because I know you got to go today. You had 3 choices. You can go back 50 years, right?
Yeah.
You have $100 million in your bank account today, or you can go forward 50 years. Which would you take and why?
I would go back 50 years if I knew what I know today, because then I would make a lot of different decisions than I did, which
Race
I think
7
would have improved my life. Yeah.
I agree. Here's our pick 4 for race 7, Don Johnson. There you go. Again, when we're done, I will put the link. I will put the time in for every race in the YouTube description, so you can come back and just watch those races specifically, and then switch over to the track, like Boss lets us know. Yeah, me too. I'd go back 50 years with the knowledge, because that would make $100 million peanuts by the time you got 50 years ahead, right?
That's right.
Like the movie Back to the Future. And also would allow for me, and I think a lot of other people, to perhaps repair some relationships you kind of wish you would have repaired along the way, or maybe not made some of the mistakes in those relationships you should have made. And then for those people you didn't get a chance to say goodbye to because you always thought you'd have another chance to see them, as you say, Terry, it would give you an opportunity to let you know that you should just tell them exactly, no matter what, how much you care for them.
That's right.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for all of our sermon today here on Mount Horse Racing Today. No matter what it is you're doing for the rest of this terrific Terry Tuesday, we certainly hope that it gets God's grace, God's favor, and every single thing that you do for the rest of this terrific Terry Tuesday ends up in our most favored place.
And that's the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Hump Day, but Hollywood Hay at Gulfstream Park.